y'all. I'm Steve, and this is
Theresa.
Lovely Elev8 doll. And today we're here to talk about what exactly is a vaporizer. So there's a lot of stuff going on today with what is a vape, what is a vaporizer, and with all this stuff today with like the e-cigarettes, it's really like what's going on. So I feel I am confident in knowing what a vaporizer is, because I was in this in very early 15 years ago, before vape was even a word. I remember when vape actually became a word. I remember when we were talking about a vape, we didn't even know how to spell it. Was it VAPE? Obviously, yes, if you know English. Or was it VAP? Because there's no E in vaporize. Well, not to spell VAPE, but anyways, that's kind of where that was at, and so forth, and stuff.
Wow. So was its first name your item, the Silver Surfer VAP?
Well, it was a Silver Surfer vaporizer, and then we had a website, Silver Surfer Vape, but it was at VAP, whatever. Nobody knew, so that's kind of where that's at. And so today, there's a lot of vaporizer stuff. So what is a vaporizer? How does it work? So what a vaporizer basically does is it takes the hot air, or it takes a surface material. Conduction would be, well, there's two types. There's convection, conduction. We'll get into that. But it takes heat and heats the oils up to where they hit their boiling point. When they hit their boiling point, they go from a liquid to a vapor, and then it releases off the plant and you inhale. So that's where I come up with the term raw dabs, because people are doing dabs nowadays to pull the oils off from doing concentrates. Man, let's do raw dabs. It's full spectrum. We'll talk more about full spectrum later, but with pulling it right off the flower, you get that. So how do you know what temperature to go for your vaporizer? Well, there's a lot of things. Our units, the Silver Surfer, they don't use any kind of digital temperature thing. The reason for that, because your inhale speed has a huge factor in it. If the heater is just a little bit lower in one model compared to another, that's going to change up little things. And it just has a lot of different changes and everything. So the whole digital thing, digital smidgital, because if the airflow, if it goes slower, it's going to heat up more. Things with fans, they get a constant speed through there, so you can get a little bit more good algorithm to come up with a temperature to tell you and I, but it's an algorithm telling us, and I don't need an algorithm. I just need to know what works for me, and that's why we are analog on how that works. Because audiophiles, they don't need to know what volume I'm doing. What does it mean? My ears tell me, my lungs tell me, my flavor tells me. As you become a vaporizer connoisseur, you definitely are going to start to figure out what the right temperature is for your flavors, extraction of different things. So there's a lot of things. Yep.
I wanted to say that I appreciate that, because I don't like being just a number, because not everybody is 435 on a vape or on anything, depending on your inhale speed. Is that correct?
Right. So it's your temperature of your... Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not no longer a number.
So, and then, we got the vaporizer, how that works. And then we got conduction and convection, right? So convection is when your air is what heats your plant matter up. Conduction is when it basically touches the herb or touches the concentrate. Basically, it's touching it. That's conduction. Conduction, touching. And then I remember convection is a V, blowing air out. So just kind of how I kind of remember stuff like that. And then, so we got, what is it? It heats it up. And then, so what is the proper temperature for whatever you're vaping? Well, that really depends on you. It depends on what you're trying to get out of it. And it depends what you're actually vaporizing. Today, we're going to be talking about vaporizing some Colorado cannabis. And so how that works, and from what I've found, is that the last basically cannabinoid that comes out would be THCV, which is not it is, but THCV, and then CBC, and those both vaporize about 428. And then, well, how do you know what that is? Well, it's dark brown roast. Excuse me. And how I say that is because cannabis actually combusts at about 450. So you got about a 20-degree window there where you're not going to combust and you're going to get full extraction out of it.
So what's the difference? What's combust?
Combust is like when you catch something on fire, which your unit can catch on fire once it reaches the 450 degrees. If you keep heating that up, it will go ahead and ignite. You can ignite with a lighter. You can ignite with a solar magnifying glass. You can light with hemp. It's all combustion, and when it hits combustion, it's actually getting around 2,000 degrees. So again, vaporizer, we'll talk about why vaporizing later on in a different segment. Today, what is a vaporizer? And what a vaporizer does is it gets your oils in your herb or concentrates up to basically their vaporizing temperature, their boiling temperature. When they hit that, they release. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what is a vaporizer. And then really there's a lot of different types. So we're going to go and I got these things up here, and really I feel there's 3 types. There are desktops, which these fit into. Then there's portable, which these kind of all fit into. And then there's e-cigarette, which this I feel fits into. So e-cig is what's new. E-cig is what, the Juul, all the nicotine companies, the Marlboros, they want in on it now. They're the nicotine things. They're the mod people blowing these like dragon clouds out, everything like that. That's the e-cig, and there is a slight transform or whatever, they go back and forth. So like this is not an e-cig, but it is an e-cig type, and it's filled with liquid in a cartridge, and this just pulls out like that. And so there's a cartridge, you can fill it and you can change them out, and we'll go into kind of how those all work. And then so we got the 3 kinds. Like, why do you need a desktop? Why do you need a portable? And what would be the e-cig? So we're not going to talk too much about the e-cig here today, but why do you need these? And why does 7th Floor manufacture different things? And why do a lot of vape companies manufacture different things? And what are so many? So the desktop, it's your workhorse. The thing's going to just power through. You don't have to worry about batteries getting jacked up. You don't have to worry about them going into the landfill, because 80% of the people with their batteries, they're tossing them in trash. They're just dirtying up our earth. But it is what it is, I guess. And that's, again, one reason why I kind of don't like units with batteries built into it. That's why I kind of like removable batteries, and it's why I really like desktops. So with a desktop, with a Silver Surfer 7th Floor, the desktop, this one's designed where you can leave a aroma top on, make it smell good in your house. You use this thing 24/7. So it's not just a vape that sits there 95% of the time doing nothing. It can actually be used damn near 100% of the time that you own this thing. So it can be diffusing, and that is a type of vaporizing. It's heating it up. If you put in essential oils, that's where you're going to get your aromatherapy. Now, it is using heat to diffuse the aromatherapy, and that can get into a whole nother ball game, because like THC, you do need it to be heated up to be decarboxylized. But then you get into essential oils, and some of them should not be heated up, because it changes their molecular properties. Now, that can also be wondered and said for the terpenes, because the terpenes in cannabis are just essential oils, basically, or they're the terpenes that are in essential oils. So there's a lot of funky things that go here. Let's talk about, but again, we're not going down there. We'll talk about that in a later segment. Stay tuned. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. And again, we're here to bullshit. I know I'm doing a lot of the talking. Theresa's here to help me if I forget stuff.
And so right here you have like wax melt. You have wax melts from Walmart.
Yep, this is just a generic brand. I do recommend going to Walmart on these things, because they have like a little funky aisle thing that's just full of flavors. I've never seen anything like it. They're $2 They're just affordable, and they actually are made in the United States.
Yes, they are. They absolutely are. Better Homes and Gardens.
Better Homes and Gardens. So that's what this is. We're going to just remove this for the rest of this thing. This is going to harden up, do whatever right there. And then we'll talk about, actually, we're going to get in and load a bowl as we get into this. So that's the desktop. You can use these things like, they're solid. They're just super solid. Then we got portables. And how do those work? What are they for? So we make a portable called the Sidekick. It does work for dry herbs and it does work for concentrates. But straight up, I'm going to say use this for your dry herbs on the go. You're going to get your full spectrum, much like your desktop. If you're going to use your whip here for dry herbs and you want to use concentrates, add your concentrates right to the flower. The flower will soak up the fats and lipids and so forth and still allow you to get great vape, keeping it clean. Now, if you want concentrates on the go, get yourself an affordable pen. We make a wax maxer. It's the way to go. And because when you go from herbs to concentrates, not so bad. But when you go back from concentrates to herbs, man, your concentrates, they're a sloppy mess. They're just on concentrates. I don't care for them on concentrates. But they are a great enhancer to your herb. Your herb is what's going to give you full spectrum. And full spectrum is really what I think our bodies are fully designed for over the eons of time that we've developed this endocannabinoid system to work with this wonderful cannabis plant. And then, so functions. How does a desktop work? So we'll go quickly over basically a desktop. That's how we're going to use this, and then we'll go to the portable and then the other portable. And again, we're not going to talk much about these, but we will get into it, how it works. So how does the vaporizer actually work? What's it doing here? And so what we're going to do is we got a little bit of ground up herb right here.
You just vacuumed that right up in there.
So you kind of vacuum it up, kind of get it in there, whatever height you want, and you'll figure it out. And then I'm going to show how to do this. Theresa likes the extra punch in your face when we're vaping. And so I'm going to give her what she wants. Not really a punch in her face, obviously, but...
a dab in my face. Not really.
A full spectrum dab. So we got raw dabs mixed with dabs here. So we're on the dab-a-dab-a-dab-a-do, I guess.
So what you just did is you took a little bit of the concentrates and added it in with the flour, yeah?
Yep, and it just sits on top there. I don't care about it, what it's going to do right now, and we're just going to let it go in there. I'm going to go ahead and give that to you. And after the first hit, because the oil sits there and it's not going to soak up into the herb too much, and it's just going to heat up. So, how does this thing work? Well, it has to get your herbs up to temperature. So your first hit on a vape or a whip style is going to be really, really weak because it's taking it from room temperature up. Once those oils get up to temperature, it starts vaping real well. So now I'm just going to go ahead and stir this up, stir it up, mix it up like it's a little mixer. And just...
Ooh, I got that punch in the face.
Yeah. So I go ahead and try to get all my leaf to go ahead and just grab up all those oils and everything so the leaves become coated, basically giving it a lot more surface area so it pulls out a big hit. If you don't have as much surface area, you can get smaller hits, but you're going to get more of them. If you grind it up and you have a lot of surface area broke down, you're going to get a little bit bigger hits in shorter times. What's better? I don't know. Really, it's what you like, so go for that. I do know about the mass micro hits. Look into that. It allows your body to absorb more, and you probably get more of an effect.
I like mass micro hits. They're kind of fun. It's almost like you see how many you can get in.
All right, so basically that's how this dry herb vaporizer is working here. And it's just really heating it up. I'm going to plug this in for Miss Theresa. And it's just heating those oils up. So whether you're using your dry herbs, you're using your dabs, this is convection. It's using hot air to go over. And then once those oils and whatnot hit their vaporizing point, they come right off. And so how does this thing work? Well, really, it's simple, right? So we have a heating element here. We use a ceramic heating element, gives it long life. Basically, it heats up. When your air goes past that, it heats the air up. So the slower you inhale, the hotter your air gets. It's not just the heating element that is the heater. It's the glass also that becomes the heater. So all of that combined allows your air to go ahead and heat up to the proper temperature to vape. And so that's how that works. A good desktop will for sure be able to do flower and concentrates, because you can use it the same way. And then a lot of other desktops out there will have other methods to do concentrates. We have a flavor disc right here for the Sidekick, or not for the Sidekick, but the Silver Surfer, Super Surfer. And basically it's a ceramic thing. It has lots, it's like a pumice stone or a lava rock, has lots of surface area, allows the oils to go ahead and coat the entire disc, allowing a lot of surface area to get a good vape. I think it's a great thing, but again, after a while, it absorbs a lot of fats and lipids. They'll come down, they'll soak up your wand, it gets it filthy. Not really a big deal, and you can clean these out with alcohol. I prefer a torch to clean them out, or throw it in the kiln, which a lot of people don't have.
So these are reusable then?
Totally reusable.
Okay.
Yep, I'd recommend if you're just using this for concentrates, I'd recommend every maybe 5th to 10th dab on there, and just clean that thing out. You're going to see a lot of black smoke come out of it. Those are the fats and lipids that a nice true vaporizing, or what they'll say a low temp dab, is going to give you. And true vape is anything besides air is going to hurt your throat. Mm-hmm. Enough vape will give you a cough. You'll start to cough because of the harshness on your throat. But when you're vaporizing at a nice low temp, it's going to hurt a lot less than if you're doing something really hot. The 2,000 degrees, putting all the extra tars, carcinogens. If you're doing a hot dab, putting the fats and lipids in your lungs, that's going to cause lipid pneumonia, stuff like that. So I truly believe vaporizing is the best. Whether you're vaporizing on a flavor disc, whether you're vaporizing concentrates on dry herbs, or I really truly prefer vaporizing raw dabs, that flower, the full spectrum, the thing that Mother Nature gave us right from there. And then our desktops, a lot of them have different things on how to do some dabs. I'm going to go ahead and hit this one more time. Mm-hmm. But this one's set up right here. This is set up for dabs, and that's the top right there. So that's a dab dish, and it's a quartz thing. So this works pretty much like a e-nail or a banger, where people are using a torch to try to find their perfect temperature. Once you dial this in, your perfect temperature set, you set it and forget it, like old Mr. Ronco said. Mm-hmm. And it just works really good. I don't know, do you want to do a dab out of there?
Sure.
So while she's getting that set up, we'll kind of just show how that works. So we're going to show this because this has all been convection right here, and this is conduction dabbing or conduction vaporizing. So I'll hold this onto this when you're about to dab.
Yes.
So here I have this hooked up with a water pipe adapter. We make them all sizes, shapes, forms, but you can also use this up. There's a piece for you.
So since you're holding it, you take the first one.
No. I gotta finish talking.
Okay, so then you load it, and I'll hold it.
So yeah, so with an adapter, it makes this job easier. But your mouthpiece does fit right into there, and you could do it with one hand. You could go ahead and put that on. Then got a carb cap right there. Or she can do it just like that as well. So basically the oils are sitting right on the hot disc right there, or the hot quartz, and they're just moving around on there, and they start boiling up. And then how the carb cap works is it brings air over there and allows those oils to come up. Otherwise they just kind of sit there and they can't really evaporate up out of there. But it really allows the air to just bring them right off of there and whatnot. So that's how that kind of works. And so that was convection and conduction. And then you could turn this down even more and put dry herb in there and stir it around, and that would be old school, the old little fishbowl types. And so I don't recommend that because convection works so much better, unless you're in a portable. You know, what are the pros? What are the cons about a desktop? Well, pro for sure is, you know, something like this, it's instantaneous. Leave it on 24/7. It's just going to be solid. These units, you can get it customized to it's super heady. Desktop unit's going to keep your rig cleaned up. Your rigs, yeah, people can take them to go, but good glass, that's meant to be at home. So you got nice glass, you definitely want your heady, have it all heady.
So I just heard you say that desktop vaporizers, you could leave them on 24/7. Now, let me just clarify.
I wouldn't say
you mean
all.
your desktop vaporizers.
Yes.
So these Silver Surfer, Super Surfer, and the ones that you make here. Okay, so not the other brands like Volcano, Puffco, all those. Those could not.
Yeah, and I think they actually have things to turn them off because they're not
Okay.
designed to be on 24/7.
Oh, all right, I see.
So that's why ours is designed for diffusing, vaping, and dabbing.
And so when I want to vape or when I want to vape a bowl or dab, I don't have to come reheat my machine then. So what? It's already reheated and I can just hit it and I don't have to heat it up 24 hours a day.
Yep.
Wow, okay.
Yep. So it's
All right.
basically set it and forget it. Like Ronco said, that dude was just good. Set it and forget it,
Wow, okay. Yeah, and that's set there.
So you will have different temperatures for a surfer, for a super surfer, silver surfer, or for sure dry herbs or concentrates, or for sure whip or fan. So all these different things play. And again, that's why I don't put a temperature on there. There's not going to be a thermistor in there that's going to be able to read what the temperature of my quartz is. I'm sure I could do it, but it's just going to be expensive and shit's going to break. So we don't do that. And then, yeah, that's that. So we got our desktops and are they portable? No, they're not portable. And these things are meant for about 2 to 3 people, I think, at max. The super can go with more when you have the bag hooked up to it, but still, it's kind of, it's an intimate machine. It's and whatnot.
Does it come in a box? Or?
No, these come in a nice little bag and so forth. So if you do want to travel with it, go on to your hotel or whatnot like that. You can pack it up into there and take it down the road. And so, it's a nice thing for that. So is it portable? Not really. I'm not going to call it portable. But I will call this thing a portable dry herb. And you can do concentrates out of it. But I don't really recommend it. I made it, I designed it, and for the longest time I created this machine with one heater cover to do dry herbs and concentrates. And I just, once I went to concentrates, it was a mess, and it was just like, theoretically it worked, but we live in the real world. We got gravity, we got friction, we got all these other things in the equation that just aren't in a perfect equation in physics or just math. You got these outlying factors. So, like portable, what constitutes portable? To me, portable means you can conveniently put it in your pocket and discreetly vape on the go. So that's why I think these are desktop units, and because you can't really do anything with the bag. You could say, somebody could argue it's portable. It's not. It's meant to be at home.
It still has to be plugged in. So.
Yeah.
But I know girls like to put stuff in their bra. That's their storage area, and that I'd put in my bra.
Yeah, I think bigger boobed girls could go with that. I think the smaller boobed girls, this would be a lot, and there's nothing wrong with that. I love them all. Yeah, I couldn't imagine this with the edges right there in my skin for too long. But hey, actually it don't feel bad. It is rounded.
Yeah, it's ergonomic.
So it's ergonomic.
Yep, it fits right there.
It's breastonomic.
It is breastonomic. That's why it's the first thing that I thought of when I look at that. I would love to have that next to my breasts.
All right.
Yep.
And me being I don't have them, it's never been a storage, but it works in my other pocket where my wallet's not. Fits in anything. So therefore it's portable. And what makes a good portable? There's convection, there's conduction, and when I had this, I'll admit I was a hater against conduction because I was like, it's inferior. It's the fishbowl type stuff. But then when I came around to actually design one, I knew it had to be conduction because the efficiency of battery power and whatnot, it's just inefficient. But when you start it up and you got a stir tool in it, you get a great, wonderful hit. And so With the stir feature, we were able to give it a great hit, much like convection. So it does have a little bit, but that's not what we're talking about. And then, so, I wouldn't recommend a portable vape for dry herbs to work for concentrates, because if you're truly vaporizing it, you're going to vaporize all the good stuff, and there's going to be fats and lipids in there, and they're going to be left over. And you can take this off and you can clean it out with a tidy tip or a Q-tip or something, but that's just not how it works when you're doing a portable. When you're doing a portable, you puff on it, you do whatever, you put it away, and you throw it in your pocket and go. I mean, that's the way I look at a portable. So if you did that and it moves, it's going to spill out. And so I would say this is for dry herbs or dry herbs and concentrate mix.
Yeah, and I would say this is a good, this Sidekick itself is a good portable device for those people that like to go to the beach or go to the mountains, because it's sturdy. And I grew up on the beach, and I can tell you that sand is just not going to bother that thing. You can
but
dust
don't get it
out.
wet.
Right, don't get it wet, of course. But yeah, I think that would be perfect to take to the beach. Absolutely. And it comes with a car charger too. So,
and with a portable, you're going to get, you're using dry herbs, so you're going to get that full spectrum medication that you're looking for. And that's really what I'm a firm believer about, is the full spectrum from the flower. And then if you got to have a little bit, you can definitely dab it up. And then we got, in the same category is we got a pen. And then there's a lot of different pens out there too. Pros and cons about them is you definitely can't put dry herb in here. I've heard people saying these small things you're going to catch it on fire. Don't do it. It's, this, just keep them dry herb, mostly dry herb with a little bit of concentrate in your wand, keeps it clean. Dry herb with a little bit of wax in or concentrate with your flower, keep it clean. This is purely wax. And
it's pretty ergonomic as well.
Yeah, it goes. You can put it in your pocket here, there, whatnot. But you do want to keep these things upright, because once they are warmed up, they definitely get some oil in them and everything like that. And it'll, once it's warmed up, it's gonna spill out, because the viscosity gets really, really high, and gets really juicy. And so that's kind of like that. So there's maybe 4 types. We got a desktop that can do all that stuff. Then we got a portable dry herb. Then we got a portable concentrate. And then we got the cartridges. And then let's talk about these cartridge pens. So being a manufacturer of vapes, I've seen these. They're not bad. But one thing that I don't like for them, what I love about them, is the convenience factor, right? I can throw this in upside down, whatever. This oils, you definitely going to want to keep it right side up, because it's the waxes. And this is made for a connoisseur, like the pens are made for wax connoisseurs or concentrate connoisseurs, because they're getting just the pure wax. These are the floofy la stuff. They have glycerin in there. They'll usually put in some other flavoring in there, so they taste good. And I think these are the low end stuff. This is where they put a distillate in there, so you're definitely not going to get even full spectrum like flour, but you're not even going to get full spectrum like your waxes. You might get close, but usually they're going to put a distillate in here and then flavor it up with a bunch of flavoring plus your glycol. So you're getting all this stuff that being a connoisseur, I just don't even want. It's like the fillers and the craps and this and that. Like, I like cannabis for what cannabis is, not for these added terpenes or these added flavors, whether they're organic or synthetic terpenes. I don't want them unless the cannabis plant grew them.
You didn't order your cannabis with sprinkles or gummy bears like your ice cream, so you don't want it like that.
No, I'm not much of a wine connoisseur, but I assume once you develop a palate, you want to taste the wine. You want to know how all the things that are in there, what it was, so forth. And same with beer, what different ingredients were in there, what it was. You go into something like this. This is just convenience and foofy la flavor. So I'll never have one of those. But you will see me with this, because this is inconspicuous areas where you might need to medicate, where you probably shouldn't need to. I wouldn't suggest, I'm not even going to recommend where this would be at. Don't use this thing in public. It's at home. And then this is, you know, on your go. Oh, it looks big. Well, yeah, you got to have this size if you want a 16-inch air path and have it nice and cool. You know, like that's what vaping is about, a good pleasure. And, you know, with a whip, you have 3 feet to cool it down. You have a water pipe to cool it down and add more moisture to it. So why not have a nice, cool vape on the go rather than some kind of little thing that gets hot, you know? Like even this, I think is too close. But, yeah, here's the difference. The heating element in this is probably 1/20th the size as the heating element in this. So hence why this will last like a whole weekend, and this is going to get about, the new version 2, about 9-10 uses out of one battery. So there's a lot of different technology there. You know, this is used right when you press it because the heater gets hot really quickly and it like almost sometimes overheats the stuff, where this gradually gets it to the heater the right temperature for the herb. So, and it holds it there. So there's just a lot of different things, you know. This would be convection. Did I say what a vaporizer is? What questions?
Vaporizer is
a device that heats up a material from a solid to a liquid to its vaporizing temperature that you inhale and you can consume it. So one thing about vaporizing as well, it has pretty much the highest bioavailability of consumption to any other things out there, say as compared to smoking, around a 30. Why is this? I don't know.
And smoking is the same as combustion, correct?
Yes,
okay.
Smoking is combustion.
Okay.
So I think maybe that vaporizing is, you know, it heats it up to the right temperature, and maybe the particles of the whatever, the vapor are smaller, and then therefore your body can absorb it because it, you know, so however your lungs work, it's freaking magic, right? That it takes it from this outside thing, air that goes in there, somehow the air touches your lungs, and somehow your red blood cells that don't ever make contact with the air are able to grab those things and get it out of there. Freaking amazing.
Yeah. It is pretty great.
A vaporizer, what is it? It's what does it do? It really tells you if you got good herb or not good herb.
Right.
You know, if you got some crappy herb and you put it in here, you might get 2, probably a little more, 2 to 6 vape hits out of it. But man, if you got some super fire herb, that was that one day we got.
For a while.
I don't want to bullshit. We're talking bullshit, but it got over like 25 hits,
right?
Oh
yeah,
20?
Absolutely, yeah. There's been times when we've been able to vape it 3 or 4 sessions. Like you get too high. Yeah, it's
Right.
pretty crazy. This I have to say, vaping is the healthiest way to consume cannabis.
Yeah, I think eating it might be, in a sense, maybe a little bit more healthy.
Right.
But
the bioavailability of it.
The bioavailability is greater. And also there's so much that I hate about edibles, right? Like let's make it all these candies and goodnesses and everything like this, which is great and cool and it looks cool. But you know, everybody's system, everybody has a different liver. How those things are decarboxylized or whatnot has an effect in it as well. And there's a whole bunch of stuff. You can do more research in it, like Elev8 Presents or something.
And the sugars and the gelatin that's all in it. And yeah, you have to eat all the candy in order to get anything. And I don't know. I have experimented with them and I just can't get what I need.
Yeah.
Fully.
I see a lot of people that are new to it, you know, new to cannabis are like, oh yeah, let me try that. So if you're new to it, try little puff hits of smoking, you know. Yeah, it's not good for your lungs and I don't recommend it, but if it's not for you, you're going to find out it's not for you. It's a small investment. Hook up with a friend or something, use their equipment.
But don't take an edible and then, oh
no,
man.
It's horrible, you know, and I hear these people, doctors even saying, you do edibles, that's great. And, no, I'm against it. And why? Why? Because I hear people all the time. I have friends, oh, I did it the first time and I got too high. Right. Same, you know, like you can't even figure out where you want to get to in it. You're just not there and then you're there.
Almost to the wall.
Or you're not there and then you never were there. And so, like, I don't want to never get there, and I also don't want to get too far deep where I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, it sucks having to wait 2 hours. You spent this much money on a piece of candy that never sets in. And 2 hours later, you're like, man, I never got high.
Yeah. Yeah. So a vaporizer is really, it's a machine as well that's going to let you know if you got some good dank or not.
Even with the dabbing, I was trying to say you can, when you wipe out the fats and lipids at the end.
Yeah, if you're not wiping stuff out when you're dabbing, and dabbing is a form of vaping because it heats it up and it's whatnot. It's conduction vaping. But if you don't have fats and lipids left over when you're doing a dab, in my opinion, you're doing it wrong. And I will be happy to argue with you. I know you like hot dabs, the one that y'all like them things out there. That's cool. I don't get the coughing. You know you can't breathe. You know it hurts. You know it.
And this went in your lungs if you would have smoked it.
Yep. Exactly.
Or vaped it. So, yeah. I remember when I first started dabbing, it was probably about a year and 4 months ago. I started with a dab straw because I'd been trying to bang her but couldn't figure it out. And somebody gave me a dab straw and I got higher than I ever been my whole life. So I thought. But actually it was all those fats and lipids and I was coughing so bad I cut all the oxygen off.
Because you were getting red hot.
Yes.
Get it red hot and slam it in there.
Man, that's what they told me to do. And like within a week, I couldn't dab anymore. My throat was burned. My lungs... I'd be like,
you don't want to vaporize the fats and lipids. And you might get a little bit of them out of there at a low temp, but man,
even the memory.
Just don't. Yeah. I remember those things and
Pardon me.
I was like, there's no way I can do this stuff. Like, I don't know how people can do it.
And then you look like a crackhead. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it because I still carry my torch. It's a habit. But I felt like in the beginning, man, I gotta hide it.
Right. And that's what a desktop is. All your friends should have a desktop if they're using it so you don't need it for on the go because they should all have one at home.
And it's already heated. I don't need a torch.
Yep. What is a vaporizer? A vaporizer is something that prevents combustion, allowing your house to smell way better and less stinky than when you combust.
Okay.
What is a vaporizer? A vaporizer is a device that allows you to consume something without your breath stinking so bad from the combustion. What is a vaporizer? A vaporizer is a device that allows you to consume the goodness from a plant while leaving the poopiness of the plant behind.
A vaporizer is the healthiest form of any type of consumption, whether, yes, I understand, and I mean consumption as far as tobacco, CBD, hemp, cannabis, it's all the same. And I do mention tobacco because I understand that right now vaping is cigarettes or whatever, but it did help a lot of people get off of tobacco.
So I know people...
Which I know we're going to talk about that later, but yeah.
Yeah, I know people... before the e-cigarettes and everything, they used the surfer only to vape tobacco.
Okay.
And literally, they could have one cigarette last them a whole day or two.
I believe it.
But they all said it did hurt. So that if you're going to vape tobacco, do like tiny little and mix it with a lot of air. And get it really diluted and whatnot. So again, micromass that, and you just don't need these big hits and everything. When combustion's destroying all the active ingredients and everything, you need to smoke a whole cigarette or joint or spliff or blunt to get high.
So I just realized that vaping a cigarette's going to give me 80% the bioavailability of smoking it.
Yeah. Oh, what is a vaporizer? A vaporizer is an investment in your wallet, in your health. Two things there, right?
Into your health, yes.
Yes. Less tars and carcinogens, so it's perceived to be way better. I am not a doctor, so I can't tell you if this is better or not better. But my gut tells me, and from what I know and all the research I've done and all the health things that they have done, that it's perceived to be way better for your health.
And so I know we're focusing right here on yours. But in general, generally speaking, health-wise, are the majority of the vaporizers on the market, especially desktops and possibly portables, all beneficial to the health?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, if you own a vaporizer,
like,
you're vaping.
They're not better as far as bioavailability. It's still 80% if you're vaping.
Up to 80%.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So I think if you have a vape and you like it, you're gangster. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, I'd love to sell you one of mine. I do believe they're some of the best. You know, we can get them super amazingly customized. But still, if you're vaping, you've made that conscious decision. Yeah. And you know, what is a vaporizer? It's a tool used to truly get to explore and experience the flavors of whatever you're vaporizing. I prefer cannabis. And oh man, you know, the first 2-3 hits, they're so terpy or flavorful in that sense. The next 3-4 hits, they're like a mixture of that and like the roastedness. And then down the end of it, it's just, you know, like I can't say if it's spicy or sweet because they're different down that end, but you really get that roasted cannabis flavor from it that you only get from cannabis. It's not coffee, it's not popcorn, you know. Is it similar to popcorn? They say, sure, it could be similar, but it's cannabis, plain and simple. It is not.
What is a vaporizer to me? A vaporizer is it was an investment into my health. It has now become my closest ally. You know, in the times when I'm just stressed out, you know, I can just go to it. It'll help me out. I can, if I need something right away, it has a fan on it. I could blow it in my face. I have a totally different things. I can change it up. I can change the lights according to my mood. It doesn't talk back.
Yeah.
You know,
so like
it's
like a dog, right?
Right. I could set it up in my bathroom, turn the light off, take a bath, and turn the fan off, turn the fan on, and just enjoy myself. I mean, you know, it's become really, really.
So what it is to you? Yeah, it's a friend. It's an enhancement in your life in a lot of different ways.
It has really, really made my life better.
What else is a vaporizer? A vaporizer is a machine used to infuse your food.
Yes. It is. I've heard that.
We've done it with apples before, cinnamon. But there's a lot of other cooks that do stuff out there with other things. The volcano is one that's popular for that.
I did rosemary at a fair we did, and it smelled like vaped rosemary. It was beautiful.
Yeah, I think a vaporizer. You know, they're an ultimate aromatherapy device.
So essentially, and not essentially, but literally, you could get the raw essential oils off of every herb by vaping it. So you could put your oregano in there and vape it, and those raw essential oils, the antibiotic properties, are going to be what you get.
Exactly.
Wow. Exactly. So, you know, I invested a lot of money in essential oils, and now to come to find out, you know, I can just actually vape the product and not have to have it all processed.
Yeah, and so you got to be careful about all those different things. Some are good for humans to ingest or not ingest. Right. I have done essential oils. I would not recommend vaporizing essential oils on them. No. They're too powerful. They're like really concentrated, really powerful. So, you know, but getting plant matters and then mixing them in there, you can make your own. But I would do lots of research on it. I just know that I can use cannabis. So you need to find out what's right for you. What you do.
Well, because I put my essential oils in it's called what's that? It is a diffuser.
Yeah, they use, well, I think you put it in there and then you put water in there, right?
Water, yep. And then I turn it on and it bubbles out, and the terpenes, now that I know that word. And so now all I have to do is actually put the plant matter in there, and I don't have to worry about those oils being oversaturated. Yeah. That's really brilliant. Yep. Thanks for sharing that.
Yep. So yeah, it's an ultimate aromatherapy device.
Sure is.
Yeah, I think it's just what is a vaporizer? It's a next level thing for somebody who wants to ingest whatever they want to ingest. You know.
Yeah.
it's a elevated way.
Sure is. I wonder if you put some cheese dip in that aroma top, if it would heat up enough to make a dip.
Keep it warm?
Yeah.
Possibly. So if anybody out there has done that, let us know.
Let us know. If you've done cheese dip in your aroma top, we want to know.
Well, I think that's pretty much it. I think we went over everything about a vape. I
Absolutely.
hope we were really clear about it. I feel
clear as mud.
Clear as mud. So if you felt any of that was bullshit, let me know. But it was great bullshitting with you, Theresa.
Me too.
All right, peace out.